Yeah. Ooh, that want to do that other one? There we go. There we go. I think you can stand it up now. There we go. Huh? I was turning around. Yep. So. Woo.
It's the fire in the rain. It's the smile within the pain. It's the logic but insane.
Alright, but the weather just keeps getting better as the day goes on, so. Over there's Wyoming. And over there's South Dakota.
What's up, everybody? Today is day one of the BDR here, and we're starting out in Keystone, South Dakota. Gonna pack everything up and get the bikes loaded up and head out. The weather's supposed to be pretty decent today, so we might dodge a few rainstorms and stuff like that, but otherwise it's gonna be pretty nice.
All right, we're starting out on the Bdr-X. Today is June 1st, 2024. It is, I don't know, about 9 o'clock in the AM. Rain has stopped, the weather's looking good. Yep. All right, we're finally on some dirt.
So yesterday, I would say, was a smashing success. It was a great day of riding. South Dakota is just beautiful, man. This place, it's not as extreme as you know, Arizona or Colorado or some of the other states. It's pretty much the same landscape for most of the ride, but it's so awesome it doesn't matter. So we started out yesterday in Keystone and made our way out on section 1 of the BDR, and pretty much immediately once we got onto the dirt, it was kind of, we started off and you go straight up, climb up a I'm not going to call it a mountain, but you know, a good climb, and the trail it's good dark dirt with a ton of water holes in it everywhere. So you're constantly zigzagging around water, lots of stream crossings, and it was really just a fun ride. Not a fast ride. It was pretty slow going because it's so muddy, it's really slippery, and lots of ruts. There were all sorts of ruts you had to worry about. So I wouldn't say it wasn't difficult, it wasn't super challenging. It was just, you had to be mindful. And on a smaller bike, like a 500 or, you know, a dirt bike, or even a small adventure bike, you know, maybe a 701 or something like that, I would be ripping through there. It would have been so much fun. But on our big bikes, you know, you just, inertia, once they get to sliding, there's not much you can do. So, but that was really fun. Speaking of, you know, big bikes and inertia and sliding, shortly into the trip, came around a corner and saw a couple of fellows there. And one of the bikes was on the ground, facing back towards me, although his friend's bike was facing the direction we were going, and it was basically hanging off the side of the hill. So we stopped and helped them out of a jam, and, you know, help get their bike recovered off the side of the road there. Newer riders doing really well, but you know, and I could tell right away what had happened is he maybe was going a little bit too fast, got sideways in a rut, and you know how it is when you start to get sideways and you whiskey throttle it, right, and just broke that tire loose and spun it back around the other way. And as luck would usually have it, I think God smiles on us adventure riders, saved the bike from going completely off the side of the hill there. Foot peg dug in and stopped it. So that was cool. Anyways, we pulled it out, chatted with them for a little bit, and you know, got going on our way again. And we actually came across them several different times during the day, and they're staying at this hotel tonight. So had dinner with them. It's always cool when you're out adventure riding, you get to meet new people and stuff like that. So the first half, I'd say, of the ride is really, it's not a fast ride, it's slow because of the mud and the water, and you really just can't, there's a lot of hairpin turns. You really can't get going too fast. There's a couple of nice sections where you get on the highway to connect the trails, but really not too long, a couple of miles at the most. And the first section is really nice and just a good time to work on skills if you're riding the big bikes, for sure. So that was really cool. Was Nemo before or after the lake? It was after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we are out here doing what is arguably the muddiest BDR of them all, one of us, and I'm not going to say who, but it was him, decided to come out here with some bald ass tires. He wanted the extra challenge, but it's been working out because, you know, knock on wood, neither of us have gone down yet, and we're planning on keeping it that way. What do you think of the Bdr-X so far here in South Dakota?
It's really good. I love all these flowy, rocky, dusty, up and down, you know, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Pretty, I mean, decently technical in spots. The mud made it definitely harder. I
got to agree. If it was dry out here, we would be flying through this stuff, zipping around corners, because they're all cambered really nicely too, pretty much.
So then we came out of the woods and we got on, I think it's Highway 285 or something like that, which we were going to take for just a couple of miles and then re-link up with the dirt again. But they had the road completely closed off for construction. So Renee was able to find a pretty decent workaround around it. You know, so we backtracked a little ways. Took us an extra maybe 45 minutes at the most. Got back on that road and then back onto the trail again. And after that, it was mostly, there was a couple of really good hill climbs in that area, a little bit more technical riding than a lot of the stuff. But eventually, just as it started to rain, we came into the little town of Nemo and pulled into a convenience store. And then the skies opened up, man. It started really raining, really good. Enough that we were glad we were under an awning, and then the hail came, and it hailed for 20 minutes or so. Dime-sized hail, you know, not golf ball or softball or anything like that, but it was really hailing good, and it was a little concerning. I thought, man, it's gonna destroy all of the trails that we're supposed to be riding on for the rest of the trip. But after that hailstorm finished up and it dried up and cleared up, we headed back north again on the trail, or on our route. Got off the road shortly thereafter, maybe 5 miles down the road, and it's like it never even rained there. So this cell that came through was kind of localized. But from then on, from after Nemo, it was mostly actually like county roads, you know, dirt roads.
Well, that rainstorm made it nice out here, I tell you what.
But they were really fast and really flowy, and that was really fun. And I mean, you know, anybody can ride on a dirt road. That's not a problem, right? But the terrain that you're riding through is just amazing. We went through a couple of little, you know, I wouldn't even call them villages, but just areas where there was maybe 6, 8 houses, or a couple of families in the middle of nowhere there, and it's just absolutely gorgeous riding through the countryside out there. So that was really fun. Then we came into the town of Lead, which Lead is a pretty good sized town. Lots to do there. I think if Nemo's not, if you know, having a sandwich at the convenience store is not your thing, maybe push on through to Lead. It's an actual town. You can, I'm sure they probably have an Applebee's there or something like that. Can't say for sure, I didn't see one, but I mean, I know they have, you know, real restaurants there. And when you leave Lead, it's pretty much connected to, once you're out of Lead, you're right into Deadwood. Deadwood was a very cool town. It's a tourist town for sure. They have casinos there if you want to go try your luck and, you know, spend 20, 50 bucks, try to win $1 million, whatever. You can do that there. But it is a really neat town to just kind of walk around. They do have the bar where Wild Bill? Well, Wild Bill Hickok was killed. And of course they made a tourist attraction out of that. You can go in there and have a drink and see where Wild Bill was shot.
So it's what, like 3 o'clock now?
Yeah.
We started riding at 9. That's a good day of riding. You guys make it rich yet?
We're working on it.
It's a nice town. There's lots going on there and lots of shops and stuff like that, and it was pretty cool. So then we rode out of Deadwood, and on the BDR there is a loop. You can do it or you cannot do it, but we decided to do this loop, and it goes up over the top of Roosevelt Mountain and then back down into Deadwood. So the loop, when you first take it out, you head north out of Deadwood and take a left and get on this loop. It's a beautiful climb up to one of the highest points in this entire area, really. And about halfway through the loop, you get to the top of Roosevelt Mountain, Roosevelt Hill, whatever you want to call it. And then there's a short, maybe, you know, a little less than half a mile hike up to the top where you can get in this lookout tower, and you can see 360 degrees. You're really at one of the highest points in this area.
All right. If you're afraid of dark and small spaces, this may not be the place for you. Wow. Huh? Or if you have bad knees, yeah. Or all of the above. Wow. Okay. It's a little bit of an overlook.
I think it was worth it. If you're wearing a ton of gear and it's warm out, and your boots are, maybe if you're wearing like enduro boots instead of touring boots, I don't know. It was a good walk up that hill for sure. But yeah, we made it okay and went up there, took a look, and went back down to the bikes. And then on the return trip back down to Deadwood, the road gets a little bit more spicy, but nothing really all that challenging. Just be aware there's a lot of rocks and stuff on the road down back into Deadwood. So after Deadwood, we got back on the BDR after about 3 or 4 miles, I guess, would you say? Yeah. To the dirt? Yeah, about 3 or 4 miles of highway and then back on the dirt. I was under the impression there was a lot of highway in the Bdr-X. Now we've only done section 1, so maybe there's more, but for yesterday it was very short, minimal amount of connector routes, so that was really cool. But at any rate, we got back on the dirt, and that was again more county road, dirt roads, super fast, you know, 45, 50 miles an hour. So basically, to wrap it up, to me, day one was absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad we came to do this BDR. I wasn't real sure about it. If you're looking to challenge yourself a lot, this might not be the BDR for you, but if you're looking to see some gorgeous country, this place was, this was really, really cool. So I don't know what day 2 has in store for us, but if it's half as good as day 1, it's already a win. So we're gonna have a little bit of coffee and breakfast, pack back up, and we'll be on the road again.
All right, we are on our way to the beginning of day 2. That is nice.
I said earlier in the video that if day 2 was even half as nice as day 1, that it would be a win for sure. So, well, it was a big win because day 2, if you ask me, was by far, it was twice as good as day 1, and day 1 was pretty good. So, absolutely loved day 2, man. Section 2 of the Bdr-X was awesome. Much more challenging than the first day for sure, but more challenging in a fun way. It was never the, man, am I gonna make it through on this big bike I got or whatever like that. It was just loads of fun. So we left Spearfish about, I don't know, 8:30 in the morning, and weather was perfect. We got out on the BDR. So when you start the BDR, or I'm sorry, when you start section 2 in Spearfish, you start, it's about 10, would you say it's about 10 miles on Spearfish Canyon? A little bit more. 10 or more miles of pavement. When you leave Spearfish, you get into Spearfish Canyon. Excuse me. And that is an awesome drive. I know it's pavement, it's not dirt, but still very, very, very cool ride at the beginning. So a few miles in, you come to the Bridal Falls turnout, which we stopped, pulled off, got off the bikes, went and checked out the falls. And that was a really, I think it's called Bridal Falls. If it's not, I'll correct it in the video, but pretty sure it was Bridal Falls. Really, really neat little stop right there in the canyon. So we stopped there for a few minutes, took some pictures, and then got back on the road. And the ride through the canyon is just beautiful. That's exactly what it is. It's a narrow wall canyon, right? So there's rock cliffs basically on both sides of you. Did that for about 10 or so miles, and then got onto the dirt section, first dirt section of the BDR for section 2. That section is basically a county road, and it's fast and flowy. You can do 45, 50 miles an hour down it. Did that for quite a while. Got into, so section 2 is much more open than section 1. 1 was mostly in the pine forests and stuff like that, whereas in section 2 you're going through a lot of rolling hills that aren't as forested, so the views are spectacular, much better than on section 1. So after a short amount of time, we came to the first out and back section that the BDR folks list on the GPS tracks, which was up to Cement Mountain Lookout Tower. I think it's called Cement Mountain. And that was actually it's probably maybe 3/4 of a mile long, but it's rutted and a little bit rocky. Some whoops in there, and it was a really fun ride up to there. The tower itself is an active tower, so it was locked, couldn't go up into it, but it was phenomenal views from the top up there for sure. This place does not disappoint. It is so nice up here. This is the Cement Ridge Lookout Tower. Yeah, man, look at this. Constructed in 1941. No, God's country, I'll tell you what. So anyways, headed back down to get back on the route, and it was a lot of really kind of fast and flowy 2-track, and that was a lot of fun. So there was a lot of 2-track, there was a lot of county road, and so it was a pretty fast morning overall. Then around noon, we decided to stop for lunch, and the spot that I stopped for, I could tell that right at the top, right where we stopped, was at the top of kind of the crest of the hill that we were traveling up, and I saw all the loose rock and stuff like that going down where we were stopped at. But it kind of went off to the right, it curved off to the right, so I couldn't see just how far it was, but I was pretty sure that it was that the rocky downhill section that we've heard about in other people's videos, you know. And Renee was thinking the same thing. So we sat there for a bit, had some lunch, drank some water, and then you know, I didn't know much about this downhill section. I knew that it was one of the more difficult parts of this BDR, but that's about it. So we crested the hill, started the downhill, and it was really a lot of rock, a lot of loose rock, and you had to be, you know, you had to control your bike a little bit, especially on the bigger bikes. So we got down to the bottom, and man, I want to say it was maybe 200 yards, maybe 300 yards, but I got to be honest, and it was not a challenging obstacle whatsoever, in my opinion. I'm not trying to make myself look better, and I'm not trying to say anything about anybody who found it difficult, but even on the GS there, I didn't find it difficult at all. Renee didn't think it was all that difficult either. But anyways, we got to the bottom of it, and that's when the mud holes started.
Well, you're gonna go through some water spots about that deep. Well, they went over my boards.
Okay.
At least that deep.
All right. Yeah, we'll be all right.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
So much mud, so much water. And at first we were pretty successful kind of skirting around the outsides of it, but then we got to one that there was a bank at the edge of the puddle, or of the mud hole, and I tried to get the bike, you know, I was hoping that with just enough speed the bike would kind of cruise and start to slide down, but I'd clear the water obstacle before I got all the way down, right? But it didn't happen that way. The bike sank right into the mud hole, and I stalled it. And I was like, ah, crap, you know, and I put my foot down, and it was about almost to my knee. But when my foot hit the bottom, I realized it was good, solid, hard ground. So I started it up and just drove it right out. And then from that point, we decided that if there wasn't a solid bypass to the mud hole, we would just go through it, get a little wet, but the ground was nice and hard, so it made it much easier to you could go into it slowly, you didn't have to carry speed, and you could just drive right out of it. So that went on for a little while. We did have some struggles. We got our heart rate up a little bit, definitely got our exercise in for the day. That is the only section I would say if you're not a very confident rider and you're on a bigger bike, or you're a newer rider, even on a medium size like a dual sport or something, you might have some problems. It's doable though. Just go into the water and drive out of it. Don't even bother trying to go around it because that mud was slick. So we got through that section, and then the next portion of the route takes you through a canyon it's all 2-track. The creek or river or whatever you want to call it runs on your right side, and it's just a gorgeous canyon that you're riding through, a granite hill canyon, with lots and lots of mud holes. So most of them though had pretty decent bypasses, so it didn't slow us down much. A couple of them we had to just barrel through, no problem once again though. And that went on took about an hour and a half till we finally got to the connector highway, a dirt highway, and we did another one of the out and backs to Mystic Ghost Town, and that was pretty cool. Mystic was a large railroad hub back in the late 1800s, and it's a ghost town now. Ghost town. It had like an outhouse and one building.
You feel like boogieing? Huh? You feel like boogieing? Let's boogie. So we're gonna run up there, check it out, come back here. do this.
It's been a day so far. We are smoked. A lot of mud puddles, a lot of rocks and puddles. It's just so, I mean, I don't even care. I'm just happy to be out here. So we're at the Mystic Ghost Town, right? Mystic Town site is what this sign up here says. Originally named Sitting Bull, Mystic was founded as a mining community in the early 1880s. Here is, I don't know, school, house, community center, church, all in one maybe. I just love it out here. This place, I'm coming back. I already called my wife. We were supposed to go on a camping trip at the end of the month. And I called her up and says, nope, we're gonna throw the sport bikes on the trailer, come up here and we're gonna ride around. Not dirt, but we're gonna do some riding around out here. Honestly, one of the things I've really noticed about this place as we're riding around is that all of the streams, creeks, rivers, whatever, very inviting. You know, there's no moss, there's no dirt, they're all crystal clear. I mean, I know that's probably par for the course for most rivers and streams, but just seems a little bit nicer out this way. And as you can see, we have encountered a bit of mud today for sure. We were kind of hoping not to get too much mud because Renee's trying to be the toughest dude on the planet with these bald ass tires he's got here. So it's made it a little more difficult for him. But he's done real well on them. So, so we hung out there for a few minutes and then we decided that since we missed the out and back to Rockford, which is, what was the name of that saloon again?
Moonshine Gulch.
Yeah, which is where Moonshine Gulch Saloon is at. So we kind of took a little bit different route. We went around and anyways made our way to Moonshine Gulch, which on your BDR tracks, it is a out and back. I highly suggest you hit it. We got there. It's a small little town called Rockford, and out in the backyard of Moonshine Gulch, they have, I'm gonna guess during the summertime, all the old timers come out, and there was like 7-8 people sitting under the awning there, just playing guitar and singing music for everybody who wanted to listen. So we had a beer, listened to some music for a bit, and then made our way back to the BDR actual route. From there, we got into cattle country, like the free grazing area. As soon as we got onto it, we ran into a herd of cows that were on the road, so we kind of just stopped there and let them do their thing for a little bit. Didn't want to get them riled up, but then they eventually kind of moved out of the way and we headed out. The next part of the route was awesome. It was fast, flowy, up, down, turns, but it was chunky dirt, almost like a motocross track. The only time we've seen that kind of dirt since we've been here. Most of it's been hard 2-track or scrabbly kind of stuff. This was good, chunky dirt you could really dig into and just kind of fly around the corner, which was really nice with this big bike to have, you know, that kind of traction. We made our way up to, there was another out and back that we went to, the Black Hills Lookout, or Black Hills Observation Point, I think it is. It's just an out and back. It takes about 4 minutes to get there. I think it's probably a mile. Got up there, looked around a little bit. It's not like a state registered thing or anything. I think it's just part of the BDR fellas found it. And the rest of it was, again, fast, flowy, all the way down off the hills, and then into the end of section 2, which puts you out in Hill City. So that was the end of day 2. It was really fun. I had a great time there. It's about 6:30, almost 7 o'clock in the morning here now. We're gonna pack up and get on the road and finish up the trip for us at any rate. Like I said, I can't do all of section 3, unfortunately, but definitely gonna hit Bear Mountain. And I'm excited about that and letting everybody know at least my thoughts on the difficulty level there. And looking forward to a great day. I'm gonna finish up my coffee, finish loading up the bike, and we are out.
That was a very fun ride. Yeah! That was awesome! Oh man, what a day day 3 was. So we got most of section 3 done, 2/3 of it, I guess. We finished up in Pringle and then had to boogie on home back to Colorado. So I just got home. It is 6 o'clock. So we started the route at 7:30 this morning. So it was a 10+ hour day of riding all day long. But man, what a day 3 was. So just right up front, section 3, favorite section. I thought it was awesome. So we took off out of Hill City, going south down the highway for about 5 miles, I guess, and then you take your first cutoff onto the BDR, just right at that point. It's a paved road for, I don't know, 1 or 2 miles through a little, you know, kind of neighborhood off of the highway there, and then it turns into a really well maintained, fast country road or farm road, whatever you want to call it. And you immediately start your climb up into the hills, tons of pine forest and some ash and stuff smattered in there as well. And it's a really fun ride for, like I said, about 10 miles. And then you come to Bobcat Road, which is the cutoff if you want to take the alternate harder route up to the top of Bear Mountain, which is what we did. We took Bobcat Road off of the main trail, and that goes for a couple of miles, 2-3 miles maybe, of another really well-maintained kind of farm road. And then you'll pass a really good-sized Boy Scout camp, and just past that, after you get past the camp, there is a 2-track that is the start to the climb to the top of Bear Mountain. So we got on the 2-track and we were immediately greeted with mud, ruts, and water holes. A lot of them. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it. There was never a time on the climb up Bear Mountain where I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to make it, even on, you know, the big boy here. So we did. We got through the mud and the ruts. Renee slid into a mud puddle, but was able to, you know, kind of power right out of it. I slid into a rut and had to bounce around on it a little bit, but all in all, it was fun and we got through it, you know, fairly easily.
All right, so now we're starting the Bear Mountain climb at some point, I presume. Right now we're going kind of downhill, but this is the 2-track that goes up to Bear Mountain. Doesn't look like it's rained anytime soon. It might be a little muddy. We'll find out. Definitely got some water coming down off the hills.
When you're in the meadow where the sun is able to hit it all day long, then the trail is really nice and grippy and good dark dirt, and it's really fun to ride. Anyways, we got through the mud and the ruts, and then you start hitting the kind of the rocky climbing section, which wasn't really bad. Even on the big bikes, no problems whatsoever. Go up there for a little ways, and then there is a sharp right hand kind of a switchback turn, and then you go straight into the climb.
Definitely got to keep your momentum. You don't want to let off the gas. That was a lot of fun, man. Yeah! That was awesome! That was so cool, man. I'm glad we did that.
I was I stopped at the wrong point. I couldn't get up again. And, you know, I stopped right before the turn.
Yeah.
I just like took my breath, and I was like, couldn't get
Oh, that was a bad spot to stop.
The bike stalled. It was in the mud there.
Oh.
And that was really, really fun. So that is just basically rock, baby heads, and you just gotta get on the gas and hold on tight and let it bounce around. And man, I am wiped. It's been a day. Yeah. So we got to the top, and at the top of Bear Mountain there is a Forest Service lookout tower. You can go up into it. I highly suggest that you do. When you get up to the top, the views are spectacular. Totally makes any kind of hassle getting up there worth it. So I really suggest that you do that. It was a blast. Went in, talked to the Forest Service guy there for a few. He was super accommodating. Wow, what a view. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Paul Hoyer.
Paul, Jason, nice to meet you. Paul's up here at the Bear Mountain Lookout Tower. You sleep here?
No, I don't. I can if I wanted to, but I go back to ranger station, stay there. You know,
oh, okay.
It's just easier there. You have running water and
yeah,
easier to cook there and things like that.
Okay, so. Man, you got a great view up here. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, hey, it was nice meeting you, Paul.
Yeah,
thanks for what you do out here, keeping the people safe and all that. But,
are you from around here? Or what?
No, Colorado. Oh, so yeah, we rode up Friday to do the Are you familiar with the BDR?
Yeah, what's that? I looked at someone else said that.
Yeah, it runs right through here. So, and this section is like the challenging section of the route. Yeah, so we did it, and we're on our way back down to toward Custer. So,
all right.
Well, nice talking with you.
Okay, sure.
Have a great day. And once again, the views cannot be beat. They were really fantastic. So we hung out there for a little bit, got back on the bikes, and then continued the trail back down off the other side of Bear Mountain where it links up with the main BDR track. Now, if you don't want to do the climb, if you're concerned about it, and let me just caveat that by saying, if it's been raining a lot or if it's raining at the time, I think it's probably most of it would be, or a lot of it would be impassable, especially on a big bike. So, you know, maybe not do that if it is raining. Otherwise, you owe it to yourself to do it. It's a lot of fun. But I digress. Okay, so after that, we made it down to the end of that little section, got on a highway for about maybe 2 miles, maybe, and then got back on dirt, and it was another super fast, flowy section of county maintained road, really well maintained. You can really fly down it. And then you get into a section of 2-track that is mixed with some muddy, sloppy stuff that you have to kind of work your way around, and some really good loomy, dark, grippy dirt 2-track, and it was really just a blast. So that was really, really super cool. So after maneuvering through all that, we came into the town of Pringle, and that's where we decided it's time to cut it off. We're not going to make the rest of the route, even though I'm going to speculate that because section 3 is much longer than the other sections, and obviously I think it's because it's so much faster. I imagine that the rest of it out of Pringle is probably really fast as well. I really can't say. Sorry, I didn't get to finish it. But so we finished up in Pringle, and then aired our tires back up, had some sips of water and a couple of snacks, and made the long trek back home to Colorado. Went through South Dakota, all of Wyoming, and then back home. So it was really great. A couple of takeaways from me as far as the Bdr-X goes, if you're planning to do it. If you are a good moderate, a solid moderate rider on a big bike, I don't think you'll have a problem. Excess rain, water, mud and stuff could always change that. But if you're a moderate rider with some solid experience on a big heavy adventure bike, there was never any point in this entire 3 days where I was concerned. So I was just having a great time out there. Dual sports, yeah, no problem. I ran my tires at about 28 PSI, and that worked out really well for me. Speaking of which, if you are gonna do this BDR, have some good knobbies. That will make a huge difference. If you're running more street geared tires, you're gonna struggle. Renee's tires, as we've already kind of gone over, they were pretty bald, and he was regretting it. He wished he had put a new set of good grippy tires on before we went, but nonetheless, he made it through all of it, even with those tires, right? So, knobby tires. If you're a moderate rider and you're considering it on a big bike, do it. And then the last thing I will say is do all of it. Do all of it. See all of on this route, there are a lot of out and backs to different kind of, I don't know what you call it, things to see, right? Do them. They're so fun. Do it all. Do Bear Mountain. I thought it was awesome, even on the big bike. So do yourself a favor, do all of it, and just enjoy that ride. It was really great. So anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I certainly enjoyed getting this bike as muddy as it is. Oh, one more thing, bugs. When you are riding out there, the bugs are horrendous. So if you've got your windscreen up, if you don't like bugs buzzing around in your ears and stuff, you're not gonna be happy. But okay, so I have a garage rebuild, redesign project I left in the middle of to go do this ride, but I got to get back to that. So thanks a ton for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a great big thumbs up. If you want to consider subscribing to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when I put out new content, and I really hope to see you guys out on the road someday.